as we go to our number 2 board. Drop what you're doing and come on down for Formula Pacific action. Run fast or go home. This is the big boy race as we go to our number 1 board. On its side, green flag, and we're racing. The whole shot is going to be Chris Siglin, but look at the power of Ricky Corey's machine as he just grunts on by Siglin. And on the outside, that's going to be Dave Stanton slotting in for 3rd place as they head on up the hill to the dark side of the moon. This is the part where we can't see what's going on, but I do love this race because it's so easy to keep track of. Just a few bikes out there. A lot of people get some quality track time as there's going to be no lap traffic. There are minimum times that you need to run Formula Pacific, and if you don't keep those minimums during the race, they will black flag you and pull you off the course. I call that the Ken Hill contingent. A few years back, he got in a little bit of an incident with lap traffic at Formula Pacific, and now they just make sure that that's not going to be a factor anymore. As we wait for the riders to come out of the carousel, turn 6, they should be there at any moment. And there it is, and it looks like Ricky Corey up in the front, but look at that 4-bike breakaway for 2nd place. That includes Chris Siglin, Dave Stanton, I believe that was Eric Branson up there, and Martin Schwark. You know, Ricky Corey's riding style is so unusual. On paper, it shouldn't work, but gosh, that guy flies. Ricky Corey, hopefully with a backward-facing camera so you can see all this action behind him. And look at that up in 2nd place. That has got to be Dave Stanton, followed by Chris Siglin, and then I believe Lenny Hale and Martin Schwark. And look at Jeremy Toy in the brakes in turn number 11. He's going to take another position there. Jeremy Toy is up in our top 5. As Ricky Corey, I see some shake out of that bike on the power. Dave Stanton, Chris Siglin, Lenny Hale, Jeremy Toy, Martin Schwark, Brian Perriott, all charging on by the line. We're going to try to get some lap times for you there. I believe that on their first lap they're down to 39s. Ricky Corey on the 39.6 from a standing start. I didn't even know that was possible. The rest of our riders slotting in with 41s and 42s. It's as if Ricky Corey got a running start. He's just so dominant out there right now. And out of the carousel, Ricky Corey, he's not even using all the track. I don't know how he pulls those kind of speeds with leaving that kind of buffer. Looks like it's Stanton, Hale, and Siglin. Did Hale work his way up there a little more? Either that or that's Jeremy Toy who got up a little closer. Ricky Corey charging on down into turn number 9. And look at the big wheelie out of Stanton as he comes into turn number 9. Lenny Hale up into 3rd place, got around Chris Siglin, then Jeremy Toy, Martin Schwark, Brian Perriott, and then I believe Jason Laritzen pulling up the end of that group as these riders are just flying around the track, dropping into the 39s already. Ricky Corey, and I swear I see some shake on that bike as he comes by the start-finish line. Dave Stanton, Lenny Hale, Chris Siglin, Toy, Perriott, Fat Panda, and then Goldbranson. Unofficially, ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Corey has dropped into the 38s, considering he did a 39 on his first lap. That's come to be expected. So what that's telling me is that people are only losing about 1 second when they start the race. So the turn 1 is a slow corner, but geez, these guys are getting on the pipe fast. As Ricky Corey extends the lead coming out of the carousel, followed by Dave Stanton and Lenny Hale. Chris Siglin, unfortunately, working his way backwards as Jeremy Toy just got around him. Jeremy Toy, I believe, is out there on a brand new ZX-10. I think it's the first of the ZX-10s I've seen show up in the AFM. It's kind of surprising. I've heard that it's a good bike, but there's not a lot of, outside of the 250s, not a lot of Kawasaki's running around. And coming to think in my mind, I believe Jesus Sanjura also runs the CX-10. So not the only Kawasaki's out there. And if my eyes don't deceive me, Cole Branson is the man on the move, working his way in front of Schwartz. Ricky Corey past start finish. Dave Stanton, Lenny Hale, and then Jeremy Toy, Chris Siglin, and Brian Perriott. Brian Perriott is now closing up the gap, and there comes Eric Gobranson and Martin Schwartz. Jason Lorenzen. Chris took turn 1 so deep he took it all the way into the dirt. I don't think he let off the gas at all there. He's probably not going to do that line more than a couple times. Ricky Corey is going about a half a second a lap faster than everyone else. So right now, this is his race to lose. He cannot be caught, in my opinion. I know Jeremy Toy runs good and strong and fast, but the deficit is just too much. In order to even think about challenging Ricky Corey, he's got to get past 2 other riders. And those riders are named Stanton and Hale, so that's not going to be an easy task to do. Ricky Corey through the S's. His next closest competition is just now coming out at 7. Ricky Corey right over the wheelie bump, down into turn number 9. Dave Stanton with a massive wheelie. Now I'm going to watch Lenny Hale, see if he slides that bike in, and not to be disappointed, there comes a nice little slide out of Lenny Hale, followed by Jeremy Toy. And then I believe Perriott's gotten around Chris Siglin, so Siglin dropped back 1 more spot as Perriott's on the charge, and Martin Schwartz got around Eric Branson. So Schwartz is coming back to life. I saw him doing low 40s earlier. I think now that he's gotten around Branson, he might be able to do that again. Lenny Hale hanging on to the back of Dave Stanton, but Jeremy Toy just keeps stalking, and now Brian Perriott's coming up to play. Chris Siglin using all of the track coming through turn number 1. And I've seen 4th and 5th place, that's Toy and Perriott are both in 39s, while 2nd and 3rd are doing 40s. So they will be caught if they keep up with this kind of traffic here. Ricky Corey doing his Berto Woolridge impression right now as he's just running away with this thing. Ricky Corey's always posting that axial video footage right after the races. It's always a treat to watch how that guy rides. He's just on the brakes so much. And look, Jeremy Toy has worked his way up into 3rd place. Jeremy Toy just came screaming on by Lenny Hale, made it look easy. As Chris Siglin has closed the gap on Brian Perriott a little. Chris has figured out whatever wasn't working for him earlier and has started to close that gap back up. The cross flags come out. We're halfway to the podium celebration. Remember, there will be a podium celebration immediately following this race. Dave Stanton now has Jeremy Toy all over his back. With the speeds, if they continue, Jeremy Toy will make a challenge for this by about the end of this lap. I'd like to say thank you to all the spectators who came out, especially our friends over in the turn 9 area. That's some of the best action there is. You get to see the wonderful wheelie bump out of turn 8A, and of course all the late braking maneuvers at turn number 9. Thanks again for coming out and watching the racing here. As Ricky Corey comes on into turn number 7 with the train behind him, leading their way through. Ricky Corey out of 7 now, into the S's. Dave Stanton has his hands full with Jeremy Toy now. Jeremy Toy is not quite striking distance right here, but I expect he'll make up some of that deficit coming into turn number 9 as Ricky Corey comes into turn 9 showing no sign of slowing down. So smooth and fast. Here comes Dave Stanton into turn number 9 with Jeremy Toy hot on his heels, and and he's bringing Brian Perriott and Chris Siglin with him. Lenny Hale is going backwards. It's very uncharacteristic of Lenny. He's always been a good front runner. It just seems like something on his bike didn't work quite right last race, and he's paying for it again this race as well. Ricky Corey past start finish as our next closest competition is coming out of 11. Dave Stanton and Jeremy Toy. Jeremy Toy is within about 2 bike lengths of Dave Stanton as they charge up to turn number 1, and Brian Perriott and Siglin are coming with them. So they're just going to wait for the 2 of those to battle out and see if they can catch up. Jeremy Toy is about 1 second faster than Stanton that last lap, with Stanton doing 39s and Stanton doing 40s and Toy's doing 39s. Stanton was doing 39s earlier. Ricky Corey mercilessly is slowing himself down to 40s now, but try to let somebody else catch up. You know you're fast when a 40 is dialing it back a little. Corey through turn number 9. Just absolute clinic and smooth. Again, his riding style is so much different, but it is so working for him. Ricky Corey through turn number 9. And Dave Stanton has been taken over. Second place has been taken, robbed by Jeremy Toy, as Jeremy Toy is now unleashing everything to try to catch Ricky Corey. He's actually a little faster up there. And there's Brian Perriott and Chris Siglin, followed by Lenny Hale, Martin Schwartz, and Eric O'Branson. We seem to be missing a rider out there. There comes Jeremy Toy. And are we missing Dave Stanton? We seem to have lost Dave Stanton out there. I'm not really sure where. Trying to figure out what happened somewhere in the back section. We seem to have lost Dave Stanton. So Higa coming by the start finish. She seems to be getting a little faster each time. She's getting her quality track time out there. There's no better practice than getting out there in Formula Pacific, because you just get clear track the whole time. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Ricky Corey through turn number 9, and he's got Jeremy Toy closing in on him. And look, Perriott is bringing Siglin. Siglin's on the brakes as deep as Perriott. So I think Siglin's getting a little lesson on deep braking from the master, Brian Perriott, as they come into turn number 11. Ricky Corey's going to need a pit board signal out there, because the fastest lap of the race is now Jeremy Toy. Jeremy Toy is almost a second faster. Chris Siglin goes deep into turn number 1. He's doing everything he can to try to get around Perriott. Chris Siglin pulls a 39.9. Chris Siglin is actually the fastest man on the track right now, but that little bobble in turn number 1 isn't going to help him. So Siglin figured out whatever was ailing him, and has now turned the fastest lap of his last lap. But that's still not going to touch Rick Corey's 1:38. I don't think Rick Corey is going to be caught. He has too much of a lead right now. Jeremy Toy is taking away a tick each time, but he's going to need about another 20 laps to actually catch him at this pace. As Ricky Corey comes through the S's all by himself. Jeremy Toy through the S's. He's also got a nice little gap till third place, which is Brian Perriott, and Chris Siglin is sucked in all the way back onto the tail of Perriott as they're coming into the braking section. Look at Siglin deep on the brakes. He's going to outbrake Perriot. I've never heard that before. Siglin came in and caught up all the distance on Perriot. He's got a little something for him as they come into turn number 11. I didn't think anyone was going to outbrake Perriot, but Siglin is giving it a go. White flag comes out. That's going to be your first call for the podium celebration. Again, remember the podium celebration comes immediately after this race. So if you're in race number 9, consider yourself on a delayed first call. That's Formula 2 and 650 twins. Jeremy Toy is still going a little faster than Rick Corey, but Brian Perriot and Chris Siglins are the fastest people out on the track right now. The deficit may be a little too much to catch, but they are on the move. Looking a little further back in the field, we see Tim Scarrett's giving his all as he's coming into turn number 9. He's sliding that bike sideways. Tim Scarrett wins my Nice Guy of the Year award for some of his actions over at Thunder Hill. What a great racer. Chris Siglin is really going to try to give it a go on Brian Perriot, but I think he's going to have to be on the power. I just don't think he can be passed on the brakes. We are on our final lap as Rick Corey comes charging on through turn 8A. There should be a big wheelie out of him there, but there's not. He's just in cruise control right now, coming through the final few corners. Rick Corey through turn number 9. Jeremy Toy into 9. And look at Siglin looking up the inside of Perriot. He's got it made. He did it. He outbroke Perriot. I didn't think he could do that. Chris Siglin has taken over 3rd place, and he's trying to keep it, but Perriot's going to give a charge into turn number 11. Drop what you're doing. Go watch turn 11. Perriot up the inside, side by side. Perriot shoots on by him, but goes a little too deep into the corner. He blew it. Perriot went too deep into that corner, and Chris Siglin steals 3rd place away from Brian Perriot on an absolutely masterful move into turn number 11. Congratulations, Chris Siglin, on the hardest fought 3rd place I've ever seen. Followed up next by Lenny Hale, Martin Schwark, who absolutely gapped Eric O'Branson. And some good racing action as we're going to head down to the podium celebration. We'll see you there in a moment. Drop what you're doing, come on by, and congratulate these guys for a great race.